Good afternoon. Uh, I am going to tell a story. Uh, Now, this story is to illustrate a point that I'm trying to make. Uh, so, the best way to do it is to just give you a brief background and start the story. I was born in 1958. The year that they opened the schools back up in Prince Edward County, Virginia, after they shut them because they didn't want blacks and whites going to the same school. Uh, the year they opened the school back up, I turned 6. Because I was born in October, I wasn't allowed to go to school until I was 7. Having said that, uh, I joined the military in 1977. I joined the National Guard. The following June, I went to basic training. So, in 1978, I went to basic training, and that October, I turned 20 years old. Now, when I went to basic training at Fort Jackson, we got there. I had already joined the National Guard. I knew a little bit about what goes on, and one of the big things was cohesiveness. Help out your buddies and work together. So, first day we were there, we getting everything together and everything, and because I had a little prior service, I was considered to be a little bit more knowledgeable, and people looked to me for guidance on some things that we were doing. Um, so, second day we were out, we were running. If you know anything about Fort Jackson, uh, there's a place called Tank Hill. So we were doing PT that morning. We were returning from a long run, and we were running back towards the barracks, and we had to go up Tank Hill. About a third of the way up Tank Hill, the soldier in front of me slipped and fell. And I reached over and I grabbed him by the bicep and snatched him back up because that's what I was taught by the old heads in my National Guard unit. And I kept running. The strange thing was that this guy kept rubbing his arm and looking back at me. And he rubbed his arm and he looked back at me. And I'm trying to figure out if I heard him or what was going on. So we get back to the barracks that evening, and I pretty much forgot about that. When we were taking showers and everything and getting cleaned up for our next class, the one of the guys hollers out, "Hey man, it's the second time I caught this guy looking at our behinds in the shower." Well, this was the 70s, and being gay wasn't exactly cool. So I confronted this guy. And when I did, he was, "Hey man, it's not what you think." And then he kind of teared up. And I'm looking at him, and he says, "They lied to me." So I asked him, what was he talking about? And he said, "They lied to me." And I'm looking at him, and he says, "They didn't want me to hang out with black people, so they told me that y'all had tails and the color would rub off." And it became clear what he was trying to say, but I didn't believe him. Um, I mean, rather than believe what he was saying, I would have rather him been gay. And later on, I realized that he was totally sincere, and the tears were not fake. And the way he overextended himself to make friends and all of that kind of verified what I suspected and didn't want to believe. Anyway, Uh, I'm saying all that to say that what I've discovered about life now that I'm 64, what I've discovered about life is that once you pass 55, you want the world to slow down. You want it to go back to a fonder time. You want to live out the rest of your days pretty much in repetition because your memory's starting to go and your brain isn't as sharp as it used to be. So you want familiar things around you and you want to do things on automatic. I think from 55 until you die, unless you got a uh, a stick, you want to use the same password. So it aggravates you when the computer tells you got to change your password because you have trouble remembering stuff, so you're gonna forget it. So if you don't have a stick, you're in trouble. But it's not just about a stick; it's about everything. You want to go to the same restaurant, sit at the same table. You want to do everything the same because it takes less effort, and you don't have to remember things, and you don't have to adjust to new things. Okay. Now, why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you all of this because the first thing that we've discovered recently is that CRT was created by a young man on his laptop in less than 4 hours. You know, um, why was it created? Well, the CRT controversy is what I'm talking about. Not CRT, the CRT controversy was made up by a young man whose computer whiz on his laptop in less than 4 hours. So you're saying, well, what do you mean? Well, there are millions, I think somewhere around 40 million Americans who are my age or within 8 years above me. Maybe 40 million of us. Okay. So we got 40 million Americans who want to go back to a simpler time. That is why MAGA was so effective. Because there is a group of people out there who just want to go back when everything was simple. Unfortunately for some of us, it wasn't so simple. But you see, these people, they want to go back to a time when nothing they said was questioned because they were the majority population and they were in control. They don't want to have to think about things like LGBTQ. They don't want to think about things like equality. They just want to do and say the things that they did when they were growing up. Now, why now? Because the 40 million of us are old. We're gonna die in the next 20 years. And we want the world to be easy and simple, and life is good because I do what I want to, I say what I want to, and anybody gets in my way, I just crush them. And one of the things that's happening is because of video and because of technology. Grandkids are going to school and they're coming home and they're saying, "Grandpa, you lied to me about racial histories." Or, "Grandpa, how come you didn't tell me about things that they don't want to talk about, they want to deny, about radical black people that have controversial views and statements. They want all of that stuff quieted down and shushed up because their minds are not as agile as they were before, when they could just, you know, come up with a quick lie and soothe things over. And so that is the main reason that we have the problems we have with CRT. I plan to do some more videos on the subject. Y'all have a nice day.